Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh. It's been a while since I did a podcast. I'll be honest about that. However, you know what? To start back up, it's really incredible who I have as a guest. She'll tell you a little bit more about how we met. I know I met her at a strategic alliance event. Like it was just an incredible event where I witnessed her for the first time. However, she met me before that. And it's really interesting when you hear her story. I'd like to tell you a little bit about Marian. She is the Heart Art Magic and literally lives in Ireland. So that's why we're doing this call today at this time. And I'm going to actually tell you a little bit about her in two aspects. First of all, she provides solutions for physical, emotional, and mental pain. Marian helps to detect and correct to unlock the block that may be holding you back from being the best that you can be. She's also an artist, author, course creator, and international speaker. She detects and corrects to reconnect the disconnect. And now I'm going to bring her on and then I'm going to give you the rest of her bio because she's just such an incredible, beautiful soul. So hi, Marian. Let me share the rest of your bio first of all.
Okay.
So she provides solutions to physical, emotional, and mental pains. She empowers people to heal themselves. Your body has an innate intelligence to heal itself, and she helps to reconnect the disconnect that can happen through stress, anxiety, and trauma. Dis-ease can then go back to ease, flow, and happiness. She started her own health journey in 1985 and since then has been qualified in many modalities, including fitness, kinesiology, reflexology, brain gym, NLP, hypnotherapy, life coaching, and she's an emotion code practitioner. She actually brought art into her practice many years ago. I know that I've been having a lot of fun watching your videos on YouTube. So check her out on YouTube. It's literally her name, Marian Egan. And she's the founder of Heart Magic, painting from the subconscious, releasing the trauma and stress accumulated in the brain and body. In 2019, she created the healing art card deck from her artwork. And in 2020, created the card deck course around her cards, which is accredited with the International Kinesiology College, the Personal Development School. I just love your bio. It's so cool. Hi. First of all, tell everybody a little bit about how I came into your world, because that's just absolutely crazy.
Certainly. Well, you and I both know how energy works, and before we physically met online, I was looking in my phone for Sandra Pelly, and it came up with you. There's no contacts named Sandra Pelly, and I was saying that's really strange because the name came into my head, and for some reason I always act on inspiration, Sandra, right? So when I'm inspired to do something, I act on it straight away. So when your name came into my head, I actually looked to my phone and there was no Sandra Pelly. And then 2 days later, you show up, literally. So that was so, so we were meant to connect. But isn't that amazing how energy works? Like the energy, whatever, the connection came and I acted on it. But that's one thing I'd say to everybody listening. When you're inspired to do something, if something drops into your head, act on it. Now, if you cannot act on it there and then, just take a piece of paper and write down what came into your head, because inevitably you will forget it and you'll say, gosh, what was that thing earlier? That was really an amazing thing and I never took note of it. So take note, always write it down.
It's been a lot of, I'm going to shift the energy of what I just said. There are a few nights that I spend up till like 2, 3 in the morning because my head is just going. And it's like, oh, I'll just remember it in the morning. And it's like, no, you need to roll over. And I actually open up my phone and open up the notes so that I can write it down. And yeah, you're so accurate. Do it immediately because it's really important information and opportunity is knocking. That's what I've been talking a lot about more recently in some of my emails is opportunity knocks, grab it. Yeah.
And I've done that. I've literally would be out cycling, and when an idea comes into my head, I'll stop the bike, I'll pull in somewhere safe and I'll take the phone out and I'll make a note of it. I actually wrote a song since my mom passed, you know, words to a song kept coming into my head, and I'd stop the bike and I'd write them down. So I've literally, you know, I've written a song for my mom, and I'm looking for a name for it. I haven't figured out the name yet, but what I'm thinking of doing is, and I've never ever done this before, but I'm thinking that I will sing that song at a Christmas party I'm going to. And I don't sing, you know, I mean, the reason I don't sing is because I don't know the words to songs, you know, and I don't have a good voice anyway. But I'm going to, I've been inspired. So, and this is the thing, I'm only doing it because I've been inspired to do it. I don't want to do it, but I've been inspired to do it. And I don't know why, I don't know what the reason is. I have no idea what the reason is, but you know yourself, there's always an outcome. And maybe somebody in that room might be inspired by what I do. I don't know. So yeah, that's what
that's such an incredible segue into why you became the you are currently. You know, you've literally been paying attention to some big things. Why don't you tell us collectively here how you got started? Because there were some pretty major things going on in your life that really had you kind of shift gears and move into a whole different way of doing things. Would you like to share a little bit of that?
Yeah, well, the most major shift of that would have been COVID. You know, when COVID came, my practice closed, as did everybody's practice closed, right? And but the unfortunate thing then was my mom got sick, and she got COVID and pneumonia at the same time, and she was already 95 years old, and she was on oxygen 24/7, and her doctor said, this is not good. And if I thought that was bad, it was, until my daughter informed me of her cancer diagnosis. And I couldn't go see either of them. And, you know, my heart was breaking. And Jenny wanted me to be her mom, not her therapist. So luckily, as you said, I brought art into my practice many years ago, and I'd been doing healing paintings, because the heart art is a healing. You're expressing what you're feeling, and you're unlocking what's blocking and stopping you, right? So every week Jenny had chemo, I did a healing painting, and I sent the energy of the painting to Mom and to Jenny. And they both got well, which I'm just so pleased about. I know Mom has since passed. She passed just before her 97th birthday. But yeah, so literally, and then the other thing I got was, I got the inspiration to create a frequency number for each image, right? And I had been using frequencies in my practice for many years, and I was saying, sure, that's true, everything has a frequency. So I created the frequency, and then I got the inspiration to bring these images into a card deck. And I knew nothing, Sandra, absolutely nothing about card decks, but within 24 hours, I was put in touch with the Queen of Card Decks in USA, and that was Rosie, and I jumped on her course, and I created my card deck. And then I said, well, how do these work? I had no idea how they worked. So I rang clients, and I'd say, look, have you any pain in your body? And they'd say, well, yes, I have, my back pain. And so, well, how painful is it? 10 is the worst it can be. So Noreen, her back pain was 7 out of 10. And after doing, I think it was 3 cards I did with her, and she installed the frequency numbers. Each time she installed a number, the pain level came down, and then it just came down to 0. And she was saying, oh my gosh, that's just incredible. And I know she thought it was incredible, but equally so did I. I was dumbfounded. But I ran client after client after client after that. And each time it was the same thing. The pain went away, you know. And I just feel that so humbled and so was blessed by the fact that my artwork is helping people to heal themselves, you know. And it's an easy way of doing it. And the other thing I found was when my clinic opened up again, I was doing a kinesiology balance, and it's a 14 muscle balance that you balance out a person's body using the 14 major muscles. And this gentleman just didn't have time. He needed to be out the door by 2 o'clock. So I just grabbed my cards and I said, choose a card. He chose 2 cards. Now, there was one muscle group in his body that was working, which were the hamstrings. And when he chose the first card and he installed the number, 11 muscle groups started and became strong. And the last card, started the last muscle group working. And he ran out the door because he was in such a hurry. But I was left with my mouth open. I was saying, oh my gosh, like, that's a real shortcut. It's a kinesiology shortcut. That's what it is. So it's amazing, yeah. So I'm very blessed. I feel very, very blessed.
And I love this because you discovered this, like divinely guided through the whole of this. And then you came to this point where you recognize, wow, this is a really credible shortcut. So how did you get from there to accredited course in the college?
Well, that's a good question. And I'm trying to think back. Figure out. But I was in touch with another Irish colleague, and he had created a card deck, and I was saying, I'd love to teach people how to use my cards. And he said, well, why don't you create a course? So I created the course, and then I got in touch with Dr. Wayne Topping, who is part of the IKC. And I had trained with Wayne for over 30 years, like on and off different courses. And he said, look, send me your manual and I'll tell you if it's a go or not. So he said, look, when he looked at the manual, he said, Marian, we get a lot of manuals. He said, but nothing like what you have presented. He said, absolutely. He said, you need to tweak this. And he told me what to tweak and what I needed to do. And I did. And then the IKC were having a conference in Tenerife in this year, 2023, in March. And I applied to go and present my cards. But before I actually went to Tenerife, I had to do and teach so many people, like I had to have 30 students, bring them through my course, which I did. And I got my IKC accreditation before I went to Tenerife, which was lovely because it meant when I went to Tenerife, it was knowing that I had already achieved something. But the interesting thing here was, Sandra, I wanted to demonstrate how the cards worked. And I asked for a volunteer from the audience. And this lovely lady, Marina, volunteered. She had, I asked specifically for somebody with pain because it's an instant indicator that you can show how it works quickly. So Marina had pain in her foot and had it for 7 months. And now Marina is a kinesiologist herself, and we know how to deal with pain, but it was still a problem for her. So it was a level 7 out of 10. And just after one card, when she installed the number of one card, and I got her to walk around the room, and she walked back and she was smiling and she was saying, the pain is gone. She said, that's incredible, like so quickly. And while I was doing that, I did have on my slide, I want everybody to follow the steps that I'm doing with Marina. Do it on yourself. So another lady put her hand up from the audience and she just said, can I just say, she said, my pain is gone as well. I installed, like they all installed the same number. So the same number was, what everybody used. But so that went down really, really well, so yeah. And here's the interesting thing. When I decided to use the cards, I needed to know how they worked, as I said. So the very first day I wrote down what my intention was, and I chose cards for myself. And I started a journal on the 31st of March, 2020, to see, to keep a record. Sandra, this is journal number 4. This is the 4th one, right? I put over 3,000 cards because I'm keeping research of what it's doing for me and what it's doing for me on a personal level, on a business level. And it's incredible. It really is. It's just helping, as I say, it just unlocks the blocks for what's stopping you from moving forward.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And I think this question is rather mute, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What do you do when you're faced with a challenge?
What do I do? That's a good question, because I did a painting for myself over a week ago, right? And lo and behold, here I end up with this, you would call it flu, okay? Sore throat, headache, all of that. It wasn't really that. It was my body letting go of what I had been holding on to. And that's what was releasing. So it was a healing crisis as such. But you know what? I just said to myself, well, look, it's better out than in, you know, so let it flow and let it go. And that's the wonderful way of, you know, so sometimes it's not nice, but it's like everything, you know, it needs time to heal. And if it took, now it's taken a week, I still have the vestiges of it. I still kind of feel throaty and horsey. But I'm just so delighted that I allowed it, you know, and just being with that flow and allowing it to go, you know. So
I was writing that down, let it flow, let it grow. Also, I've got your YouTube up on the screen. Really, everybody, go take a look at this when we're done on our having our conversation here, because it is fascinating to watch Marian do her artwork. And believe me, you're going to be surprised, I believe, right off the bat at how she does it. And to me, it just seems so much that you're letting out this inner child, this little you, come out and do the painting. And I feel that that's so magical. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about your artwork?
Okay, so what I do is I sit first and I meditate, and I'll set an intention. The same way as I set an intention when I'm going to choose a card for myself, I'll set an intention. So I set the intention and I sit and I meditate. Now the meditation is really just to center myself, okay? And the reason I call my art magic, first of all, it's coming from the heart, okay? And it's my way of expressing how I'm feeling, because it's expressing from your subconscious, okay? I do not know. I have no idea what's going to come through. Absolutely no idea. That's why I set up my camera and I film myself painting, because I like to look back and see, well, where did I start and how did it come about? So the films are really for me. I know they serve a purpose for everybody, but they were primarily for me. So then what I do is, and here's the reason why I call it magic. The magic is my acronym for my ability to go into my center, because that's where the magic happens. It's not outside of us, it's within us. As I say, your body has an innate intelligence to heal itself, but sometimes we get in the way with our thinking. Like, our thinking is our conscious mind. Our feeling is our subconscious mind. So you're getting in touch with your subconscious and you're allowing your subconscious to speak through you. So it's like body talk, you know. So I put my hands into paint and I literally put the paint on with my hands, you know, and sometimes I use two hands or one hand or whatever. And then when I see an image coming through, I will take a brush and I will bring it through with a brush, you know. So yeah, it is incredible how it works, and I just act on it, you know. I could be sitting now, Sandra, if I'm not working, I could be sitting doing something. I love creating as well. I design my own knitwear, you know. I love that. So when I sit, I knit, and but I could be in the middle of doing that and I'd get the desire to paint. I will have to drop everything and just go paint, you know. And sometimes it doesn't suit me, like it could be late at night or it could be, you know, whatever, but I will do it because that's just the way it is. But last week when I wasn't so well and I did want to paint, all I did was take a pencil and a small piece of paper. The paper would have only been this size, and just doodle. Just doodle, because again, you're expressing, you know, and it's a wonderful way of expressing what you're feeling. I would love to tell you what, I did a workshop one time and I had a family here, and the workshop was booked for a birthday party. It was somebody's birthday and it was a birthday party, and rather than bring out, you know, 7 children out to a restaurant, they came and they did a workshop with me. So they all did 2 paintings each. And at the end of it, I always ask everybody, well, how did that make you feel? And the 15-year-old said, I feel as if I've been set free from a 25-year prison sentence. And his second painting he did of a sunflower, and over the sunflower he had written new life. And it was so touching, you know, but you're expressing without having to use words. Words you don't need the words, you just need the feeling. And then when you express it and it's outside of yourself, now it's released. It's on paper, it's on canvas, whatever it is, it's outside of you, and that's it. You've just expressed what you're feeling and what may be holding you back.
I just am loving this so much. And the more you talk, and we've had a couple conversations, but the more often that we get together, I'm seeing very much the woven in connection of you and I. First of all, way back at the beginning, you said something about cycling and that you pull over to make your notes. Well, I do the same thing. I'm an avid mountain biker. You spoke about sitting and knitting. Well, I was just looking at all my knitting supplies there yesterday. So it's just, I love the way this keeps stacking here of our similarities. And someone also wrote about how quilting does that for them as well. And I know that there's a member of my community that actually has this incredible quilting course where she does the same thing, brings in this beautiful energy into it. I don't know. I'm feeling so very connected energetically with you right now, and how heart-based you are and how devoted you are to spreading the message. And one thing that's really interesting, everybody, is, you know, when we write down our names, here's her website here, and you'll notice it has actually IE on the end of it. And I wanted to kind of go, oh, hey, look at this. I love this. So being in North America, we're very .com, .ca, .net, .org. And IE is something that we're not very familiar with the back end of a website. So I just really wanted to highlight your website. First of all, you are a very unique woman. And I love that website might not be unique for you where you live, but for us over here in North America, it is very unique. So I love that you're the first person that I'm bringing on that has that website with the IE. And there's something really, really magical happening. And your cards are so incredible. In fact, she did a 3-card pull on myself recently as well when we first met. Well, not when we first met, but when we came together of our own accord after the conference that we were in. And I got a healing with her cards. So the cards, I went and I looked, and currently they're not on Amazon. Ideally, throughout the years, as this stays green, they will become available throughout all of the world. But currently, they are definitely available, I believe you said, in 17 countries. And I'm guessing that's more in that hemisphere than our hemisphere, or my hemisphere. I shouldn't say our hemisphere, my hemisphere. So with that in mind, how can they find your cards? Like, I've got your website up on here. Are your cards accessible through you there?
Yes, yeah. When someone goes on my website, you can see I have 2 card decks. The first one I created just as I have explained, and the second one came about, again, it came about one day when I was out cycling. So I don't know whether you want to know that story, but yeah, so the second one came about that way. And so the 2 of them are available on my website at the minute, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Tell us the story.
The story. It was very interesting, Sandra. This was about 6 months after my mom had passed away, right? And I'm out cycling, and I'm in the middle of the country, and next of all, I realize, oh gosh, I dreamt of Mom last night, you know, and I was a bit annoyed that I didn't think of it the first thing I woke up. But anyway, I'm thinking of it now, and it was actually the day I was with her. I was very blessed to be with her when she passed. I was sitting beside her, holding her hand when she passed away. So in the dream, I'm sitting on her bed just after she'd passed away, right? And in the dream, she takes a deep breath and she opens her eyes and she smiles. And I'm thinking, okay, is she with me? Is she not? I'm a bit confused now, you know? So the next thing, she's walking. I was going to show her some pictures. I always, when I was with her, show her something I painted or knitted or something. So I'm going to show her a painting, and I said, oh gosh, I can't show her that. That was her memorial painting. Before she passed, I said, Mom, I would love to do a painting, and if I may, put your ashes in the painting so I will have it as a memorial, right? And she said, I would love that, because I've been doing that for a while. So I did one for myself and for my brothers and sisters, and I chose the monarch butterfly, because the monarch mom was always like the queen of everything, really. So her ashes are in the monarch butterfly, and I'm coming through and I'm going to show her this painting. And I said, I can't show her that, her ashes are in it. So it was a bit funny. So next thing, anyway, she's walking around the room. Now, she couldn't walk unaided before she passed away, but she was about 30 or 40 years younger. And in the dream, she comes over to me and she puts her arms around me and she gives me this massive, big hug. Now, Sandra, I'm on the bicycle. It was so physically and spiritually fulfilling that, it brought tears to my eyes. And I just said, gosh, I need to do a painting based on this dream, So I came home and I took out a canvas. Normally I just paint on paper, but I took out a canvas this time. And I painted this painting. And I'm sitting at the canvas on the easel. I'm looking at the canvas and I'm saying to myself, okay, I need a name for this now. And instantly, the name just dropped in. I dreamed a dream. Wow. Which is what happened, right? And then I said to myself, that's the song that Susan Boyle sang for Britain's Got Talent, And so I YouTube Susan Boyle. She's singing I Dreamed a Dream. I'm looking at the painting. I'm, quite emotional. The door to my studio opens and I'm looking to see who comes in. There's no one there. And then I felt the hug again. But then I got the message, like the inspiration was, Marian, that's the name of your next card deck. And I went, oh my gosh, it takes so much work to put a card deck together. Because first of all, you have to paint each image, you have to create the message, you have to create the frequency number, So I created, and that's my deck. I dreamed a dream.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can't tell, I've got tears streaming down my face right now. Very much for people who are aware of their empath abilities, and I truly believe everybody's an empath. You can't help but be touched by Marian's story. This is just so powerful, so very, very magical. And I'd love for you to, I'm laughing because someone literally just wrote, I'm literally watching you paint it now. So they obviously went over and looked on the YouTube channel, because it's so cool to watch you do the painting. But would you, do you feel comfortable sharing a card to the group? Can you do a group kind of card?
Absolutely, I can. Yes, sorry, I can do that. So what I would do for anybody listening, and is to just think of, well, what is it? What do you want to reduce? Whether if it's pain level, measure it. 10 is the worst it can be, and just decide, well, where does that pain live? I would also say to everybody, and it could be emotional pain or mental pain as well. It doesn't need to be physical, But then I would get everybody to say, look, I am so happy to let this go now. I'm done. Because pain is literally, it's a good thing because it's feedback. It's just your body saying, can you please look at this now? Because this is bothering me. So it's your body telling you something. So make the statement that I'm happy to let this go now,
I'm just going to go off camera, give you the complete screen to give you the space to do this. I can see you, I can hear you, and I'll come back on when you're done, okay?
Okay, so I'm just going to shuffle the cards. I'm going to just connect, and let me just make the connection for everybody. So this is for everybody that's listening and tuning in. This is for you. So just allow yourself to choose what is right for you right now. And I'm just going to choose intuitively the first card. And because I know them so intimately, I don't look at when I'm choosing a card. Okay, so the first card is called Enlightened Life. And it says, I am good enough. I am strong enough every day in every way. Whatever may have disrupted this balance within me, I am giving my subconscious the instruction to rebalance, reboot, and reset. My vibrations are now reset at the best optimum level for me to do what I need to do with excellence. So I'm going to read that again. And while I'm reading it, I want you to just tap your hands like so. I am good enough. I am strong enough every day in every way. Whatever may have disrupted this balance within me, I am giving my subconscious the instruction to rebalance, reboot, and reset. My vibrations are now reset at the best optimum level for me to do what I need to do with excellence. And the frequency number for this is 7733999963. So just to share that with you. Okay. And then what you do is you tap that number. I just tap it on the sternum, or you can tap it into the pain point. But here is just as good. 7733999963. 7733999963. 7733999963. 7733999963. And that will have helped to allow the pain to release and let go. Okay. So that's enlightened life, which is literally what we're talking about, Sandra. Yeah.
Wow. I love that. My lips were tingling. I'm just energetically, I could feel a shift in myself. That's why I really wanted to give you the space to do this without my picture on there, because there's such beautiful, beautiful cards. And again, I say there's just so much heart energy in there, so much divine energy in there. And I am blessed. I am so blessed to have met you, and I'm so thankful to have met you. And I'm devoted. I'm devoted to spreading the message about how incredible you are. I truly am. Yeah.
Well, there is a wonderful connection, obviously, you know, the way it came about and how genuinely it came about, you know. And that's the other thing I would say to listeners is to, you know, to have the intention of fulfilling your own life's purpose and stay connected, particularly to yourself, and be your own best friend, you know. Sometimes we say things to ourselves that we would not dare say to somebody else, you know. And I think it's really important. And I think probably a little tip on this would be to, if you had a photograph of yourself when you were 3 or 4 years of age, and when you say internally something that you shouldn't say to yourself, look at that photograph and just say, would I actually say that to a child?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and don't do it to yourself, you know. Do not say anything to yourself that you would not say to a friend of yours or a stranger, because we can be so hard on ourselves. And that's one thing I've learned, is to go easier on myself. I was so, I was always giving out about inabilities and not being able to, and, you know, all of that. I don't do that anymore. You know, embrace what you can do what you can do, because you can only do what you can do, you know, and don't be thinking about what you can't do. Or, yeah.
Love it. Yeah, we are in such incredible alignment. It's so magical. Someone responded to the card, perfect card for the back spasm she had been experienced. I'm going to put had rather than have. That's what Marian's talking about, changing those words, right? Yeah.
And the other piece of advice I'd give is to write the number out and cover it with tape and wear it on the left side of your body. I'm wearing mine now. Okay. Yeah. Wear it on the left side of your body. Okay. And take the number and turn it so that the first number is facing your head and your last number is facing your feet. Turn it so it's facing your skin and just place it on the left side of your body. And that keeps the frequency, because energy comes into your body on the left side, you know. So when you wear it, and wear it all day and just take it off at nighttime, but wear it for at least, you know, a week or 2 weeks, and just watch, just allow the magic to happen. But allow the intention of when you're done with the pain, you just say, okay, I'm not doing this to myself anymore, because pain is a circuit. Your body is running an electrical circuit. So what the frequency does, it interrupts and stops the circuit from running. And it balances the imbalance in your body.
Wow. Thank you so much for all of this. You know, I'm looking at kind of like what you and I were talking about. And is there any last little bit of information? I mean, this has just been so chock full of really great tips, the cards, the experiences that we've had, and that. Is there any final little bit that you would like to share with anybody?
Yeah. Well, I suppose one piece of advice I kind of would finish with is, when your eyes see your hands do the work of your heart, your circle of life is complete. So those of you that do, you know, like the lady with the quilting, those who knit, those who do woodwork, craft work, any kind of, you know, work that pleases them, do what you're drawn to do, you know, and embrace it and enjoy it, because you're being true to yourself. When you've been given a gift of a craft like that, whatever it might be, it could be metal work, it can be any sort of work. Just embrace it and do it. Do it because it pleases you, but also remember, it's pleasing other people too. It's giving other people pleasure as well. So, but be true to yourself and just be the best version of yourself that you can be.
I love it. Thank you so much. I'm just going to share some of this information. It's the Heart Art Magic with Marian, incredible, beautiful soul. Her website is marianegan.ie. That's where you'll be able to find her cards. And then her YouTube channel is at, well, you can see it there,
Egan
1. Please subscribe to her, help her out. It'd be absolutely wonderful. It's absolutely free to subscribe on YouTube channels. Marian, I am, like I said, so truly blessed that we got to meet in person. I think it's absolutely wild that you know, my name came up and then 2 days later, here I am, I showed up in your world. And, you know, when I saw Marian, like, you know, I say across the room because we're in a Zoom call, but I really feel like we're across the room from each other in that call. Yeah. There was something energetically that connected, and I knew I had to speak to her. And then when I heard the story about my name dropping in on her, it was like, wow, wild.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity to just tell people, you know, what's there and what people can do for themselves, you know.
Beautiful. So yeah, you guys know where to find her now. Look her up, please. And she does offer a course as well. This probably will be a continual evolvement as things go along. This call is evergreen, and I'd love it if you'd subscribe to this channel as well if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you, everybody, so much, and thank you, Marian. Take care.
Thank you, Sandra. Appreciate it.